Angelo Reed with the Daily Opinion Podcast. Fact check, not checking no facts. What's Gucci, folks? Obviously, Trump's up to some shenanigans once again. I'm not going to try to focus on that because I feel like everyone's already talked about it, said, their piece on it, gave their 2 cents or whatever, their 2 pence. So I'm not about to go into all the extra stuff, but I do have some interesting topics on things going on around it. And I'm going to start off this episode by saying, I don't know if these are true. I'm going to fact check them, but, I'm going to say it first. I don't care. I'm going to say it, and then I'll explain if it's real or not real. I haven't looked into them, because that's what this podcast is about. If I see some crazy headline, I'm going to say it just because it's interesting, and then I'm going to either disprove it or prove it. We'll see what happens. So right here, and I'm only going to do that if it's like something like bad. Like if it's something good like this one, I'm just like, hey, we gonna take it for what it is because it should be happening. If it's not, then it is what it is. I don't know if that's a good way to do it or not. We'll see. Let's see. So here it says France becomes the first country to force all supermarkets to give unsold food to the poor. I don't understand how this isn't a thing with everyone. I think it's because if everyone in your country is trying to get like the free food, then that's where it kind of falls apart, because in America, like right now, things are just getting higher. Like it's harder for people to eat. So I could definitely see Walmart saying like, oh, okay, bro, like we're not going to sell, we're going to give all the steaks that are left over to people in need. But if no one's buying steaks, then Walmart's going to be like, yo, we just kind of screwed ourselves because now we don't have no one buying steaks. Everyone's just trying to get the free steaks. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that's the thinking or what, but I mean, I think it comes down to capitalism at some point, because I never, I've heard like at Dunkin' Donuts, you can't eat the donuts after they've been thrown away. Like that's why they lock up their bins and stuff, because if you were to get sick, you could technically sue Dunkin' Donuts. And I'm like, in what world is it that if you start sifting through my fucking trash and eating shit out my trash, then now I have to be concerned with like you getting sick about shit? How come that's not for the regular resident? If someone were to come and start eating through my trash outside, and then they're like, yeah, that pizza was like wild old, it was sitting there in the heat and shit with bugs all on it, and he ate it with maggots and shit on it, and now he got sick, and now you got to pay his doctor bill. I'd be like, ain't no fucking way I'm about to pay this nigga doctor bill. Like, you're out of your mind, right? But that's what they claim. I genuinely do not understand how that could possibly be the case. It's like, no, once I discard of something, as long as I do it safely and, within the rules of, society, why would I now get penalized because and I think it's illegal to even sift through trash. Or maybe it's illegal because I know police can do it in order to get like certain pieces of evidence, but it's at least illegal to put your trash inside other people's trash. Like, there has to be some law against trash that is just not like, yo, you can't. Because then if you just hated someone, you just had to eat some shit out their trash and just get sick as fuck and then make them pay your medical bills. Like, I don't know. That's like that's a you type crime. It's like, no, you put yourself in a fucked up situation. Like, if you jump off a cliff and that's on someone's property and you hurt yourself, it's like, why was you jumping off that cliff? Like, I don't know. Like, I guess in that case, you could say like, well, it didn't have proper signage or whatever to tell me the cliff was even there. It's like, okay, but I'm just saying in case of like, I feel like no trash has signage on it. It just says, yeah, this is trash. Don't be eating it. It doesn't even say don't even eat it. It's just like, this is trash. This is a trash can. This is trash. You should assume that there is trash inside the trash can. I don't know. But either way, it's interesting because it just goes to like poor folks, or not poor. It goes to businesses. They're just like, no, we don't give a fuck about poor people. Like if you ain't got money to give us out, we'd rather you just die in the street, honestly. Yeah, because apparently there's also I saw this a few times. There's a place in New York. It's like a pickle factory, and they throw away like a bunch of pickles at night, and it's like a thing for, I don't know if it's New Yorkers. I assume it's tourists because this shit's fucking nasty. But the tourists come and then they pick out pickles from, and it's like a ton of fucking pickles in this trash can. Like, so they're popping out the top to the point where the trash can can't close. So the people like pick at the pickles. People picking pickles. I wish I knew where it was in New York. I don't know a place that starts with P. Like there's a Tenderloin, but I don't start with a P. Next to Pine's Place, pickle picking people. What's it called? Go and take pickles. But I guess the mindset is like, well, if I take the pickle from off the top, even though it's in a dumpster, technically it didn't touch none of the dumpster. Which I'm like, well, you don't know if that pickle fell out and then someone just put it back in there. It's been on the ground and shitted on by fucking, bugs and shit. But yeah, that's I don't know. That's a part of society, I guess. Yeah, because in my mind, I'm like, unless there's something wrong with the pickles. But again, it's in a trash can. If a nigga gets sick, it's like, yeah, you're eating out a trash can, bro. Like, what do you reasonably expect to do? And also, if they're eating out of trash cans, who's gonna sue you? In what way is anyone that's eating out of a trash can have enough money for a fucking lawyer? That doesn't make any sense. All right, I'm just going. See, this is a me issue. This is not a France issue. This is a me issue. Diving too deep into figuring out whether or not this is a good law. Now, obviously, it's a good law, but yeah. So that's good for France. Hopefully, they feed their homeless and whatnot, and hopefully they get some like mental. I don't know how France is with mental health or whatever, but like I feel like most homelessness deals with is due to mental health and then also drug addiction. So maybe if they add in some of that, they could have probably the perfect country. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, round of applause. There we go. Nice round of applause for I should actually put in like the little fake applause shit, but then that would be fake and that would make my podcast fake, so never mind. My real applause for France. Good on you, France. Good shit. And actually, now we got a nice little W for Alabama. Alabama takes some real bad L's. They take bad fucking L's every fucking day. Same as Ohio. And I want to say Arkansas. I don't know much about Arkansas, but from what I have heard, it's not good. Yeah, but Alabama, I went to Birmingham. I'm like, this place is fucking depressing, bro. We went out there with an Airbnb or whatever. Like, our Airbnb was in man, these people were just sitting outside on their stoops, just chilling. Oh, it was an older community, which, ain't nothing wrong with that. But I'm like, I'll tell you, like, legitimately, me being in Alabama, like, my memories of being there, it was like it was a fucking desert. Like, I remember it being a haze of, like, pink and brown, where it's just dust is just kicking up and there's no one on the street. Barely any food out there. And we went to the downtown area. It was dead on the weekend. Just dead. And the main thing out there was a hospital. Big ass hospital. And nothing else. I'm like, yo, this town fucking sucks. I will hold tight to that. There was a nigga that I knew. He went to Birmingham, Alabama's, football, what I'm saying? Not football, but college. Wherever I was like, damn, I feel bad for you. That place fucking sucks. And he was like, I liked it there. I was like, okay, nigga, you don't know what good times are. You in Atlanta now. Like, figure it out. That shit's depressing. And then Ohio, I only heard negative shit about Ohio. I know niggas that went to Ohio and they literally did not come back. Them motherfuckers are buried in the fucking ground. So I'm like, and I'm saying there's 3 people. Some of them were kids, like, not kids, but, less than 18. I guess that is a kid technically, but they was, able to do bad shit. And 2 of them are locked up. So 3 are dead, 2 of them are locked up. And, yeah, no, I've just never, my dad was actually locked up in Ohio's high security prison. And I'm like, I don't want to live in a state with a high security prison. I don't know. Actually, let me check on that. Is this like a normal thing? Does each state have their own? Because he ain't do no dirt in Ohio. They moved and I'm going to leave. Let me see what's going on. Let me see if this is like a normal thing that just happened. They just put all the bullshit in Ohio. Yeah, it looks like I may be wrong on that. But I don't know. Again, I just am never going to step foot in Actually, I did step foot in Ohio and I didn't like it. What was it? Cincinnati, another depressing ass city, borders Ohio. I think it's between Ohio and like Kentucky or some shit. Garbage ass city. Flyover city, as some would say. But yeah. But either way, good W for Alabama, because they said death penalty approved by Alabama Governor Kate Ivey for child rape and torture crimes. So I guess also if you torture children, or maybe it's just torture crimes in general. So yeah, the only thing that I am always wary of when it comes to like the child rape type of stuff is like, because I remember when I was in high school, I don't know if the law still exists. I'm not going to look it up, but there was like the Romeo and Juliet law where it was like, yeah, if you're 18, because like when you start getting into those like younger ages where things are a little bit like, it to me, I'm like, it's not fair to have a law that's so, yeah, if you're 18, you just can't get fucked at all. It's like, let's be realistic, like kids be fucking. So it's like, if you're 19 and then your girlfriend's 17, but it's literally you're only like a day and a year apart, you know what I'm saying? Technically, it looks like you're 3 years apart, but you're really only a year apart, because if she's 19 and let's say y'all both have the same birthday, or your birthday's a day ahead of her birthday, right? So when she's 18, if your birthday's a day ahead and it's your birthday, you would be 19 technically. But if you was a year apart, she would be 18 and you would be 20. So it would look bad, but it's like we're technically pretty close in age. We're only a year and a day off. You know what I'm saying? So there was a Romeo and Juliet law, which I believe it was like 3 years. If you're within 3 years of the person, you wouldn't get like, child molestation charges. Let me actually look this up. Okay, yeah. The Romeo and Juliet law isn't one single federal law. It's a nickname for state laws that protect young couples and close in age from being treated like serious sex offenders. What it means, two teenagers or a teen and a young adult who are close in age and in a consensual relationship don't get hit with felony charges or forced into sex offender registry. Let's see. Without these law situations, like 17. See, and that's where it gets funky, because I'm like, okay, yeah, 2 years is not crazy, but if you're 17 fucking a 15-year-old, or like 16 and 13, like that's kind of rapey to me. I don't know. Maybe that's just my mindset. 17 and 15 is just a weird age. Let me see. So if one person is 14 to 17 years old and the other is no more than 4 years older, okay, so 4 years older, that's a pretty, well, 14 and 18 is fucking crazy. I think it should be 3. So maybe I'm a bit more Republican than I thought. I would go with 3, because 14 and 17, okay, still kind of weird, a little bit weird. But 14 and 18? Or 15 and 19? Nah, that's a bit much. Let's see. If one person is 14 to 17 years old, the other is no more than 4 years older, it doesn't always make the act fully legal, but it still can prevent or remove sex offender registration. Yeah, because, you don't want a 19-year-old that makes a stupid decision on the sex offender thing for having sex with his girlfriend that he's done 1,000 times or whatever. Like, they literally might get married to each other. Like, that's the weirdest thing to me, is that, like, we're kind of dictating when people can or can't have sex, but, they could literally be with each other forever. Like, I feel like in nursing homes, people will say like crazy shit like that, where it's like, yeah, I was 13, married to my 30-year-old husband back in 1946. We had a great life together. Like, I loved him. Like that was my fucking guy. Is what the lady's saying. but yeah, so and that's the thing with me too, is that and this may sound crazy, but I was always under the impression like, well, and I'm not even a religious person, but I'm like, if the girl is getting her period and the boy is able to get an erection, I don't know what the issue is. Like, clearly the body is saying that it's ready to have a baby. What's the problem? But I know I see in this world now, and I know a lot of people are going to say like, yo, that's disgusting. But I'm like, but legitimately, we're talking about nature. Like, nature isn't always pretty. Like, I'm sorry to say. But I started thinking about it, and I was like, no, okay, that does make sense, because, you're still in school. We still want an educated population. Some people don't, some folks in certain political parties don't want to educate population. They actually go ahead and say smart people hate me. But most people, I'd say, want to educate a populace. So it's like, okay, when you turn 18, which is where, sex becomes legal, you can do it, whatever. It's like you should have at least graduated high school. You also understand the implications of sex at that point, too. So it's not just like, we're doing something that's just fun. It's like, no, it's risky. Like, understand that you have STDs, and, obviously there's, in some states there are courses so that you learn about STDs, you learn about pregnancy, you learn about like sex and whatnot. And you've received and digested that information so that you can make a good decision. Obviously, your brain isn't fully formed. Like I think for girls it's like 21, and for guys it's like 25 or 28 or some crazy shit. But yeah, it's just Oh, I'm sorry. And then also at 18, you're able to work. That's the main thing, because I also think that they don't want a populace where people are pumping out kids and then like the parents are the ones having to take care of the kids because of the fact that the parents are having to take care of their grandchildren, essentially, not even essentially, literally, because of the fact that their kid is 15 years old and literally can't get a job. Not literally on that case, because you could get a job, but it's going to be part-time. They're still going to want you to go through school and everything like that. So it's like, hey, this is probably the for the betterment of the nation that you don't start having sex and having kids before 18. And I'm like, that's probably why it is. That makes sense to me. Because again, like in red states, I'm like, there shouldn't even be an issue with this, because in my mind, I'm like, red states, they believe in God and whatnot, so they want God to control their lives. I'm like, well, God is nature, right? So if nature is telling you that you're good to go, then like why are you now not cool with that? And also a lot of these people are eating and having sex with babies, which, that's crazy as fuck. And then they go online, they're like, but don't have sex with a 17-year-old. It's like, yeah, okay, you just fucked a 1-year-old to death. What are you talking about, guy? But yeah. What the fuck? What? I don't even remember what started this. Because they're killing them. That's why. So yeah, I like this. The only thing, again, like I said, as long as they have that Romeo and Juliet law, we can change that to about 3 years rather than 4 years. That's cool with me. But they're doing it by firing squad, which I'm like, that's a bit unnecessary at this point. Like I could see back in the day when we didn't have like chemicals, or well, they said the chemicals, people can still feel it or something like that. I don't remember, but and then like the electric chair, obviously that's the gold standard of executing a nigga. But the firing squad just seems interesting to me because for those who don't know, the firing squad, they have like 5 individuals, 5 random people. I don't know if you have to, if it's like a court where it's like we're just going to pull random people from the community to do this, or if it's like you have to put your name in a ballot and then you get selected, because I'm putting my name up there. I don't know if I should have said that, but I'm putting my name in the thing. But honestly, it should be the person's family. It should be whoever the rapist's family is. If they want to do it, they get first dibs, is what it should be. Like if we're going to be a reasonable nation, the family of the child should be the one to kill the person. I think that will give a lot of dads and a lot of like uncles and whatnot, like a lot of closure to the event. Obviously that's not going to make the kid feel any better, maybe, but hey, it is what it is. But also getting shot in the chest, like how long does that take to die? Like I feel like if a nigga fucked around and shot me in the stomach and I'm just sitting there bleeding out, I'm like, yo, this is cruel and unusual. Like this, you shot me and now I'm bleeding out for 3 days. This is some bullshit. But again, I mean, he raped a kid, and I'm 100% fine with that. I'm like, hey, you did like, there's no reason to rape a kid, and I think that the reason for the death penalty, it's like, it's obviously a very good thing. It dissuades people, but it also makes so that it's like there's no fucking around. There's no like you get out in 20 years and you can do it again. Like it's over with. You're no longer necessary for this world or for the nation. You're not helpful to anybody. Because they say, and this is gonna sound crazy, but I think it's very legit, I believe. But they were saying like pedophilia is kind of like vampirism, like the way that you become a vampire is because a lot of pedophiles, they were touched when they were kids. And so it kind of rewires your brain when you're in that developmental stage to say like, oh, okay, this is what we're supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? I'm attracted to children for some reason. Well, that doesn't make any sense, because if an older person were to rape you as a kid, why would you then be attracted to children? Because it was an older person. Maybe you just don't like older people anymore, and you're like, I only like kids now. I don't know. But they've said that most child rapists have been raped before as a child. So, the less that we have, like, this might be a disease that we might be able to wipe off the face of the earth, like honestly. But yeah, good on them. Good on them. That's some really good shit. And the only I keep saying the only thing, this is like the third point that I'm making, but they also need to make sure that they don't be bullshitting, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't trust the police at all to do a good fucking job. And I think most people are fucking, like, because if you think about it, think about the most average person that you know, like, intellectually. Like, just, you're like, okay, he's not the smartest and he's not the dumbest. He's just kind of like middle ground. He's not thinking, like, he's just kind of walking around, or like the girl, whoever you're thinking of. It's like, that person is probably just middle ground, and 50% of America is dumber than that person. You know what I'm saying? So when we bring in people to say, like, hey, this person needs to get a death penalty, there's a probability that they might just get all stupid people and we kill someone for no fucking reason, where it's like, this had nothing to do with child rape. You know, what if someone's born on the leap year, and even though they're 30 and 42, technically he's 12 or she's 12, and then you have sex with them? Could that be considered child rape? I don't know. I genuinely do not know. But it's something to think about, at least. But yeah, good on them. Firing squad, a little bit heavy-handed in my opinion, but hey, fuck it. Who cares? As long as we getting them out of here. Shoot, I sound like a Republican. As long as they're getting out of my country. Let's see. What's the next big one? Okay, here. And I called this one from 2 years ago. I think I even have it on this podcast where I called this shit. So, $2 million lawsuit against the Ozempic creators is growing significantly after more people, thousands, have gone blind, had face and stomach paralysis, intestinal blockages, gallbladder disease, pancreatitis, and kidney damage. So now they have about over 3,000 lawsuits against Ozempic's manufacturer Novo Nordisk. Never heard of them. They've kept that name underneath the the spotlight for a minute. So it's alleging that the company failed to adequately warn users and doctors about the risk and severe side effects of Ozempic, and legal analysis estimate the total liability could exceed $2 billion due to the scale and severity of the reported injuries. Well, and the weird thing is, people don't be giving a fuck, actually. I feel like the people on Ozempic, I haven't heard of anyone getting off of Ozempic. I know probably at least 5 people on Ozempic right now. I haven't heard of any of them getting off of it. I don't think people care. I think they're like, well, would I rather be fat and seeing and looking at things, or blind and looking the best? Or they're probably not working out. They're just skinny fat. So I'm blind and just not as fat. And a lot of them choose blind and not as fat with some kidney disease on the side. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting. But I called this shit because I'm like, you can't just have some fucking magical shit pop up where it's supposed to be used for, diabetes. Like, that's a serious ass disease, and you just using it because it suppresses your appetite and shit. No, it don't work like that, baby. You're going to get some bullshit associated with you. I called this shit. I'm gonna have to go back in the books and figure out which episode I called this shit out years ago when it first hit the market. As soon as I seen it happen, I was like, nah, that's some bullshit. Ain't no magic pill like that. That shit gonna turn you into a dragon or some bullshit. Ain't no just get skinny and look better fucking shot. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we'll see. But I also feel for the people that's on Ozempic, because I'm like, bro, you could just eat healthier. Like, I don't know. There's some people that have issues, but I'd say at least 95% of the people on Ozempic, like, they could definitely get back in shape. They just don't want to. It is what it is, I guess. Like, find a cheat way out. But it's funny. I was actually listening to another podcast. I think this was a flavoring podcast. They were like, yo, all that body positivity shit went straight out the window as soon as Ozempic hit the market. The body positivity shit, they were like, nah, like we just want it to be easier to get in shape versus having to like work out and do shit. But the thing is that with Ozempic, you're also not eating anything. So you're not getting like nutrients. You're not gaining muscle. You're just starving yourself. Because I believe they said like the vast majority of people who stop Ozempic gain all the weight back because they haven't changed anything about their diet. So you're going to have to be on this fucked up, making you blind ass, shot in order to stay looking skinny fat to look regular, I guess. I don't know. Because in my mind, I'm like, you still want to look like you got some muscle. Like, I don't know. Again, I don't have any kids. I feel like your brain changes in a way when you have kids because you're like, yo, my sense of self diminished a bit, and I think it just keeps diminishing until it's like essentially nothing. My sense of self is diminishing because I have the kid. Like the kid is now my life. What happens to me doesn't matter so much as how I get this kid into the best situation possible before I die. I think that's what happens, and that's why a lot of people, they're like, yeah, like, I don't care if I get fat. But then that's the thing. The best thing for your kid is to probably be in his or her life for as long as you possibly can, which, you know, obviously that entails not being fat, so Ozempic helps with that. I don't know if with the kidney damage and shit if that's helpful to the kid, but it's like, you know, eating right, working out, you know, doing things for yourself, making sure you keep your cortisol levels lower, making sure you're doing all the good shit for your life. You know, that also helps your kid out too. So helping yourself can help your kid. But people don't want to hear that shit. They don't want to eat their motherfucking hamburgers. It's funny too because I'll see parents and they'll feed their kid like a super clean diet. Yeah, he doesn't drink any soda. He's not allowed soda. And then also he only eats like the freshest of berries picked early in the morning with the dew still on them. And yeah, he only eats meat from live cows that have only been slaughtered in the past 15 minutes. Yeah. And then they'll go out and get like a fucking McDonald's hamburger. I'm like, how long is that shit gonna last for then? Like, because at a certain point, like the kid's just gonna eat like you. I feel like kids do what they see rather than what you know, what they're told or how they were brought up. They're like, no, my mom was eating like dog shit and was fat as fuck all the time. Like, you know, most kids revolt, you know, revolt, but they that stays in their mind, and that's kind of how they grow up. Obviously, you can break out of it when you get older. You might say like, no, I don't want to be fat as fuck when I'm older. But I don't know. It's just interesting. Like parents will raise their children better than they treat their own body for some reason. It's like, you know, if you can't afford it, that's one thing, but I think a lot of it is just fucking pure laziness. So it is what it is. Yo, this Trump thing, and this is, like I said at the top of the podcast, I'm not even looking into this one right here. Let me try to look. This is literally it's in the fucking name of the podcast. Let me see what was up. Okay, yeah, this shit is false, or at least they claim it to be. Because I thought this was like a really weird thing to say. But yeah, during Easter, Trump made a post that included the phrase "praise to Allah" on his social media network. So what the whole thing was that on Polymarket, apparently, there was a this is fake, so you know, take it as you want to. But they said that there was a bet going on Polymarket saying like, hey, will Trump mention Allah in the next 48 hours? And, you know, it was like a 99-1 bet where it was like, no. And then at the very end, right before he posted it, someone put a ton of money down that he would, and then they won the bet. So they were looking at like, not market volatility, but they were looking at like, I don't know, fuck around in the market and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like niggas fucking around too much and they know the insider trading type shit. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if it's false, I don't even know why the fuck I'm covering it. What am I doing? Is this what the podcast is going to? Is this what I want to do? Figure out next time on this next episode of Dragon Ball Z. All right, y'all, take it easy.